Yo, what's up guys, it's Aptrix here. Today in this video we'll be taking a look at the brand new version of Winlator Mali which was just released yesterday, and this is finally the gameplay test video of Winlator Mali which you guys all were waiting for. So right here, version 1.3 has to be one of the most useful updates of Winlator Mali. You guys will be able to see added Mesa virtual 22.1.7, version 2, D3D 4.11 and D3D 4.12. Also few game presets have been introduced such as Need for Speed series, so Most Wanted, Hot Pursuit etc. games will start working now in Winlator Mali. Also X-Blades, Mount and Blade series, Oblivion, Skyrim, which is pretty good and all, but one thing which I personally asked the developer to do was to add the benchmark version of Winlator Mali, and the developer has finally added it, so I am very excited to test it out. Now what it means is basically you will get the maximum amount of performance possible while running this emulator on your Mali GPU Android devices. Now you won't be able to use Winlator Mali unless and until you uninstall any other Antutu benchmark emulators which you might have added on your Android device. And if you guys didn't know already, Winlator Mali is an open source Windows emulator for Android created specifically for low-end processors with Mali GPU, for example MediaTek Exynos or Unisoc processors. So you'll be able to see my device has about 5.4 GB of RAM. With that being said, let's start testing out this emulator. So we'll be setting it up for the first time and we'll be creating a new container. I recommend you guys to do the same after this update. Once it is done setting up all its assets, let's just go ahead and open settings and check out the box 86 and box 64 version. So one change was that the developer has removed unnecessary box 86/box 64 versions. Let's just go ahead and apply the performance preset, and once that has been done, let's tick mark. Let's start off by creating a brand new container, and in terms of graphics driver you'll be able to see there is only one option available, which is virtual, which works universally by the way. If you are using a Snapdragon 7H Gen 3 processor or something like that, you need to use virtual graphics driver. Anyways, let's just go ahead and apply the screen size as 800 by 600. Audio driver will set it to pulse audio, show FPS will be enabled, and yeah, let's scroll down to video memory size and we'll set it to 4 GB. DX wrapper is set to wind D3D by default as we are using an Mali GPU. We'll also tick mark all the processor affinities, and WoW 64 has also been enabled. Startup selection should be essential. Once that has been done, we are now all set creating a brand new container inside Winlator Mali, and I really want to thank the developer of this emulator for adding the benchmark versions of the app. Anyways, let's just go ahead and run this emulator and see how well does it perform in terms of emulating games. And the first startup may take some time, so just be patient. And there we go guys, our emulator has successfully started. I'll just go ahead and toggle full screen and you'll be able to see it is working properly. So let me go to the start section. So you guys will be able to see in terms of game preset, lot of games are now present. As I mentioned before, few games have been added and this makes it pretty amazing. Now there are few games which we'll be testing out in today's video which are from GTA series, so we'll just go ahead and set up the GTA preset and you will be able to see it has been successfully done. So now we should probably be able to run GTA games, at least GTA 3 Vice City and San Andreas on our Mali GPU Android device. We also have Need for Speed series preset. Anyways, in terms of extras, we have OpenAL, VC, Redist, etc. So let me just go ahead and quickly set up all of these and I'll be back. Also make sure to go to System Tools, afterwards go to Wine Configuration and make sure that the Windows version is set to Windows 10. You'll be able to see by default it is set at Windows 7, and I'll also talk about the games that you will be able to emulate inside the Winlator Mali version, because in my last video I asked you guys to recommend me some games and I got so many comments from you guys telling me to test out games like God of War, GTA 4, GTA 5 etc. It's just not possible guys, because this device only has 6 GB of RAM unless and until I get an MediaTek processor Android device with at least 8 to 12 GB of RAM. Those high-end games will not work, but still for today's testing I have some AAA titles. For example, we have Assassin's Creed Rogue, which was peak game of its time. We also have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, Fallout 3, which the developer asked me to test out, GTA Vice City, as well as Amazing Spider-Man 2. So we'll be testing out all of these games and you need to let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the performance. But as we have applied the preset for GTA games, let's start off by testing out GTA Vice City first. Let's tap on input controls and make sure to use a RTS preset. Alright guys, there we go, GTA Vice City has successfully started. And another thing which I'd like to request the developer, it would be really amazing if you can add custom on-screen touch controls layout like it is present inside the Winlator Frost. It would make much more sense than using the virtual gamepad or RTS controls. But you guys will be able to see GTA Vice City has successfully started. I'll just go ahead and skip the cutscene and we'll also disable VSync to see how much FPS can we get inside this old game. it says unhandled exception. So apparently the game has just forced stop before I even check out the full potential of GTA Vice City. But anyways, GTA Vice City works. It means that you can at least emulate some low-end titles or old games inside the Winlator Mali. Let's just go ahead and try out our next game, which is going to be Assassin's Creed. For that, I'll go to game presets and try out the Fallout 3 preset, because there is no specific preset for Assassin's Creed games. Though I'll still be testing it out anyways. We have Assassin's Creed 1 as well as Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now guys, I just started the normal Assassin's Creed 1 game, but you will be able to see it is running in Task Manager, but the game is not starting. So we can cut out the normal Assassin's Creed from this because it doesn't work. It should work on a Mali GPU Android device. I have tested it out previously on I think Mobox Emulator, but let's just go ahead and try out Assassin's Creed Rogue. And still guys, this game is also not booting, which is very unfortunate. Let's try to use our own Virgil as well as Wine D3D preset and see if it works then or not. So I'll be using Wine D3D 8.14, and no guys, once again it's not starting. So let's just go ahead and apply the Fallout 3 preset once again and try out the Fallout 3 game. Now unfortunately, for some reason guys, even after using the preset, I tried opening Fallout 3, but it just wouldn't open. It would just say there is already an instance of Fallout 3 running, but the game isn't starting. So if we see in Task Manager, you'll be able to see Fallout 3 is actually working, but it's just not being displayed inside the Winlator Mali. So I think there is an issue with the version of game that I'm trying. Alright guys, the next game that we'll test out will be Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Afterwards we'll test out Amazing Spider-Man 2. So let's just go ahead and apply the presets. And there we go guys, our game is starting successfully. At the top left corner, you'll also be able to see the amount of FPS which we are getting is around 54 to 55. And for some reason, the games appear to be working in a small aspect ratio. I don't know why, but there we go, the game is about to start. So we'll just go ahead and enable our input controls, which are RTS, and skip this cutscene. And there we go, our game has successfully started. The first thing which I'd like to sort out is the video mode. Now all of these games you might know are pretty old. If you want to emulate games which are of 2004 to 2010 I guess, then you should be able to do so inside the Winlator Mali, even if you have a Mali GPU Android device. So let's start a new game and see how well does it run. And seeing at the top left corner, you will be able to see during the cutscenes we are getting very amazing FPS, no issues whatsoever, no lags, and it's part of the thing that it is a very old game. And unfortunately, if I had an 8GB RAM or 12GB RAM Android device, then I would also try out GTA 4 or other games. And for some reason it just froze for a second, but there we go, as you will be able to see, once the game actually starts, the FPS is pretty terrible, so almost 3 FPS. And it has frozen once again. You will be able to see my entire Android device is lagging, quite literally. And there we go, even my entire device just crashed. I think it's just a bit too much for a 6GB RAM Android device. So be sure to hit that like button so I can afford an 8GB RAM Android device. With that being said, let's try out our final game, which is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 2. Again, a pretty flagship game for PCs of its own time. But will it work on a Mali GPU Android device? You'll be able to see it says your video card does not meet the minimum requirements to run this game. So unfortunately guys, there are a lot of games which do not work on Winlator Mali, and most likely it will improve by a lot in future. So currently these are the only games that have been tested out to be working and have actual presets to get the best amount of performance and compatibility possible from these games. And also if you want to test out your own games, then you can do that too. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.